I don't like to say, oh, this is out and this is in, because I have lots of couples, and it's usually brides that will say, oh, I always wanted to do that, you know?
Hi, this is Lynn Widmeyer, and today we are going to talk about weddings. And with me is a very qualified person, Leanne Cobb from Broadview Events. And Leanne shared with me you've done 125?
Over 125 to date, yes.
And I can attest personally that she is a fabulous wedding planner and organizer, because Leanne managed both weddings for my son and my daughter, and they were fabulous.
They were fabulous.
They were. So today we're just going to talk with Leanne and have her share with us news about wedding events, what's new with weddings, some of the things that she's enjoyed being a wedding planner. And she has, how many do you have upcoming weddings you're planning?
We have 10 for 2025, and that's about where we'll stay. 10's a good number.
I was involved with my kids' 2 weddings over 6 years, and that was enough for me. So for you to do that much in 1 year. So let's start off, and Leanne, tell us a little bit, what do you do as a wedding planner? Tell us a little bit about what a wedding planner does.
So a wedding planner, and planners and coordinators have a little bit different roles, but I kind of treat it as one and the same. So my clients will come to me and they will say, usually they've already found their venue. So then they come to me.
That's big. That's a big.
Yes. So they know where they're getting married. And that helps, determine. Some venues say you must have a day of coordinator. Like you don't have the option to
really?
not. Yes. So in that case, and that's the majority of my weddings the last couple of years have been venues that require coordinators. So the couple will come to me, we'll have an initial consultation, we'll make sure that we like each other, that we communicate well, and if we move forward, then I start helping them with, depending on the kind of package we're doing, it can be the day of, month of coordination, or it can be more like what we did with your kids, which was full on.
Yeah, I just wanted Leanne to do everything, because this is not my skill set. So as you look back over, you've been doing this for years, what has changed? Yeah,
I always like a ceremony. It's a ceremony send-off. You know what this is?
No.
So instead of at the end of the night with sparklers and things, a ceremony send-off can be when they're walking out of their wedding ceremony. Kind of like what we used to do with rice, throwing rice.
Yeah.
But it would be as they're coming down the aisle, we might have bubbles, we might have streamers, we might have ribbon wands.
Fun.
And it makes for fantastic pictures, and it's just, everybody is just so, it's just such an appropriate time to do it, because they're just brand new married. So it's fun. And sometimes couples will do that and still do like a sparkler send off at the end of the night.
Now the other different, that's something new I've never heard about. And the other thing when my son was married that I didn't know, they took the wedding pictures before the ceremony.
Mm-hmm. If they do a first look.
A first look,
Yep.
Is that what that's called?
Mm-hmm.
And it was nice because then that was taken care of.
Yep.
So after the wedding, you could immediately start drinking.
Yeah, because that's where you want to be, cocktail hour. No, I like first looks. In the beginning, I didn't think I liked first looks. I thought, it's so romantic when the bride comes around the corner. But then it does a couple things. It helps you with pictures and it helps you with your timeline, but it also helps get those nerves out. If one of the couple is just very emotional, and it just kind of diffuses all that. And it's also a very intimate time, just the couple and the photographer, but you pretend like the photographer is not there. But, often now I see couples doing private vows in that moment.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's...
Mm-hmm.
So then that takes the whole pressure off being in front of all these people.
Yeah. So...
Well, do you see any new trends coming to the wedding thing that you've
I don't know.
going to introduce in your...
I don't like to say, oh, this is out and this is in, because I have lots of couples, and it's usually brides that will say, oh, I always wanted to do that, you know, like I always wanted to, and they have a vision of like big balloons were popular, you know, where they would, the bride and groom would both hold a big balloon. Well, some would say that's out. But if my bride wants that and wants that picture,
it's her day,
yes,
by Jove.
Yeah, you know, and I mean, so I don't think there's anything that's out of style. But what I do see more of, like to more touch on what we were talking about, how it used to be versus what's kind of the norm now. Like when we got married, matchy dresses.
Oh, yes.
And matched, you know, 5 bridesmaids and they were all women and 5 groomsmen and they were all men. And now it's
mix and match.
Mix. Yeah. One of my favorite wedding parties, the couple had their siblings on each side, guys and girls on each side. And it wasn't even numbers. It was like 3 and 5. And, you know, it just, and that was so
like
special.
That.
But also just not matching attire, like have everybody on the bride's side wear a different take on the shade of green, or we're going to do all florals. And, you know, that's just, I think that's fun. I just think that's fun. I think that's creative and it shows their personality.
Have things gotten more informal?
Yes. I mean, I'd say definitely informal, but also just definitely more creative, more out of the box. Our own daughter, Lindsay, for in lieu of a traditional receiving line after their ceremony, they had whiskey tasting because they'd gotten engaged in Scotland. So guests came over and tried a little tot of whiskey with them, some of the stuff that they brought back from Scotland.
I remember back in the day, spring weddings were the thing, but I read that the most popular weddings now are in the fall.
Mm-hmm. Here in this area, absolutely. I would say end of April, May, beginning of June are pretty busy, but then September, mid-September, all the way through the end of October, and even now, like the first month or 2 of November, because the weather has gotten warmer.
So that's to accommodate the weather.
Yeah, but October, any Saturday in October gets booked.
So how far in advance should people start planning these? What do you
recommend? Well, if you want a Saturday in October, you know, somewhere, you might be looking 2 years out.
2 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And depending on if you fell in love with a photographer, often photographers are, you know, one-person companies. I mean, they'll have assistants, but you want that artist that might be 2 years out as well. So it just all depends.
So you're probably pretty much booked up for 2025.
Oh yeah, we're fully booked.
You're fully booked for 2025. So
yeah.
So people would have to go to
26.
2026.
And we already have 3 weddings in 26.
Of course, I remember back in the day, my husband proposed in June and we were married in October. Well, I thank you for sharing all these thoughts and ideas, and we will put up your business card up there for people to contact you. But of course, you better be thinking 2 years from now.
Well, every once in a while we do have a hole in the schedule, so
there you
do
go.
Reach out.
Well, thank you so much for sharing these thoughts. I have 2 children and both are married, so I'm out. I'm out of this area of planning, but both weddings were so special. Thanks.
Oh, they were special to me too.
Thanks to Leanne. So
they were fun to work with.